On today's show, if it comes down to it, should the Mavs prioritize more help for Cooper Flagg for the future or Anthony Davis's prime right now? It's a question they may have to answer, and we will on today's Locked On Mavs. Stop it! Stop! The number one pick will go to the Dallas Mavericks. Cooper Flagg will fly in Dallas.
Dogs, all of us, all five.
You are Locked On Mavs, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave you.
Your team every day.
I'm going to get a city like that.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years. Thanks for being an everydayer, making Locked On Mavs your first listen. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA, all one word, at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. And joining me, as always, my co-host, media member, covering the Mavs for 10 years, right alongside me, the text line lover, the one more thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Shout out to all the questions we got a few days ago. If you haven't been subscribed to our text line, this is how we're gonna do at least one show every day, every week of the summer or this off season, answering questions from this text line. So shout out a text the other day, kind of let the subs know what we're doing, and I mean in a matter of minutes, firing off. I'm like, dude, we could do like 4 shows on these questions. So thank you to everyone who sent questions in.
So many. We're going to talk about Cooper Flagg's route to the Rookie of the Year. We'll talk about the odds for that. We'll also talk about what's more important, backline defense, point of attack defense, who Cooper Flagg's best helper, like Steve Nash figure, like Steve Nash was the Dirk. A lot of good questions like that. But let's start here, Isaac Harris. One of them came from our friend Joe on the text line. He said, if for some reason Kyrie doesn't come back and the team is just at 500 or below, is it worth losing out to get another young player alongside Cooper Flagg while wasting a year of Anthony Davis's prime? And I think this is fascinating because it comes down to what's more important, trying to squeeze everything you can get out of Anthony Davis's prime right now in a win now team, which we believe this is. But if Kyrie doesn't come back, like Kyrie has warned, hey, don't hold your breath, I might not come back for the playoffs even, then is it worth it? Or should they shut some guys down and go and try to get somebody else with Cooper Flagg and try and get another young player, because they do own their pick in 2026. That is a possibility for the Mavericks. It is not for a team like the Suns, the Bucks, some of those teams that now have 10% of their cap dead for the next 5 years, which is wild, as an aside. But it's a fascinating question, and to me, I think I've been the guy that has been like, let's focus on Cooper Flagg, let's focus on the future. But I think if it came down to it, I would want them to win. And I would want that experience for Cooper Flagg more than I would want them to just try their luck at getting somebody in the draft. That's what I came down to.
I think the question I would fire back is where would the Mavs have to be in the standings if it came out and said Kyrie? Here's the thing. If they came out and said, hey, Kyrie's not going to come back the regular season. He's shooting for the playoffs, postseason basketball, the end of the regular season. Where would the Mavs have to be in the standings for you to be like, yeah, just don't come back. Let's just get the draft pick?
Is there a scenario where if they're in dire straits like that, and Kyrie's like, I'm coming back for the playoffs, is there a scenario where he comes back for a play-in game?
I know, that's what I'm saying. And let's assume
make any sense.
Let's assume AD was healthy. I feel like the answer from the Mavs would be yes. They would just win, play-in game or not. It's oh yeah, if we're going to have our full squad healthy going into a play-in game, then yes, we're going all out. We're trying and all the stuff. Cooper's changed so much with the future of stuff, but we still haven't seen drafting Cooper Flagg is the most forward-thinking thing Nico has done in a while, right? There is a scenario.
Is there a lot of thinking?
There was a scenario in which he could have took Cooper Flagg and said, hey, Giannis, or, that. There's a reason why so many fans were scared initially, right?
Legitimately scared. Yeah.
Dude, Nico might trade this pick because it's all about these 2 years here. So they shouldn't yeah, I think it's really tough for me because I've really thought about this since this question came in, because Cooper's changed everything to where, yes, you need young pieces around him in the future. It would have to be that. It would have to be they're in the 8, 9, 10 spot at the end of the regular season. Kyrie's only coming back for the play-in or a playoff series, and AD has had a few, a few little setbacks, time, like a few little injuries throughout the season to where he missed like a week or something. If all of those lined up, I would be in the camp of saying, let's get the draft pick.
Because the thing is, one of the things that I was talking about at the end of last season, when I was like, just win out, like just play, just keep playing and keep going up, because your odds don't change that much. Now, the Mavs did get the number one pick with 1.8%. So, but your odds, if you go from 11 all the way to 7, it goes from like 2% to 7.5% chance to get the number one pick. Like that.
I will say the 2026 draft next year, especially when you get, I mean, it's deeper at the top, or at least right now it is. And some of those guys, I mean, 1 through 5 or 6. What?
People said that about this one too, and then it ended up being a 2-player, like a 1.5 player draft. Where they're like, there's one, and then there's Flagg, and then there's everybody else. And it's like, because people were talking about, could Ace Bailey be number 1? They were talking about, there's just, I feel like there was a couple guys that got pushed down in this.
Well, I think the top of next year's draft is pretty loaded again. So, but that's the thing. I think it would take a very special set of circumstances for you to say, hey, let's just go for the draft pick. And it'd have to be like super late in the season, barring AD having some catastrophic injury at the first of the season, and then Kyrie's out most of the year. Then like that's shifting all the timelines at that point. So, but yeah, I think you almost have to like. I think no matter where you're at entering that like final stretch of the season, post All-Star break, let's say Kyrie comes back at the All-Star break. If everybody's healthy, or if like even like remotely healthy, like you're going all for it because you've invested in this team like that way.
Right.
So yeah, hopefully we don't even have to have that discussion.
From Rohan, another friend from the text line, by having less pressure.
Wait, Riders of Rohan? Riders of Rohan.
I don't think they're riding. By having less pressure and a better situation as a number 1 pick, do you feel that that being on the this doesn't make any sense. By having less pressure and a better situation as the number 1 pick, does that reduce Cooper Flagg's chances of getting Rookie of the Year because he's basically going to be on a better team and he's not going to have the ball in his hands all the time? The classic argument that his counting stats would probably be lower because he's going to be on a winning team and all that. Where do you stand with that? Because I think we've seen it both ways with Rookie of the Year in the NBA.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday that we kind of debated it a little bit, or like talked about what could happen at the end of the season with Rookie of the Year. Because you look at Rookie of the Year odds at FanDuel right now, Cooper Flagg is minus 170. The next highest one is Trey Johnson at a plus 950.
That is a gap.
That is massive. And then it's Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, VJ, Derek Queen. I think there could be a scenario. Now, Dylan Harper did go to a team that he might not have like a predominant role on. And it would take,
going to be good.
Yeah. And it would take Trey Johnson or Ace Bailey or VJ having like a super high points per game on a bad team for them to, rival Cooper or something. It's just, there could be there is a scenario in which everybody is arguing at the end of the season, well, Cooper's on a winning team. He affects winning, but his numbers are a little lower than typical rookie of the years. And then you got like a guy like Ace Bailey, who's getting a ton of shots in Utah and he's averaging over 20 points a game. And then there's this like argument of media back and forth. Well, did you see the numbers that Ace is putting up? And it's like, okay, cool. Y'all suck. So anyway, I think his numbers will be lower, but I don't like any of the other situations a ton. I'm not confident enough to say somebody's going to rival him.
It's hard for me to imagine a Trey Johnson and Ace Bailey being good enough and having enough efficient stats and enough people seeing them in order for them to pick him over Cooper, because the Mavs are going to have some national TV games and they're going to be out there. And if he plays well in those in front of people, and like if the talk is how good Cooper has been all over, I think the voters have gotten smarter in the sense that they look at that stuff and not just straight counting stats anymore. And so I
Yeah,
don't think
I'm looking
I
at-
don't think it reduces his chances at all.
I'm looking at Harper and VJ as the only ones that I'm like, that would like, oh, keep an eye on them. Like if Embiid's healthy, and they're like decent, and VJ's playing a predominant role on that team, I could see that. If like an injury happens with Fox or something, I think Harper is that good to where if they didn't have Fox, I would be very worried. And because I think he's that good on a Spurs team, but Fox has kind of got that locked down.
Yeah, that team should be good. The Mavs should be good. I'll be interested to see their roles on that. The other two teams we mentioned, and probably the Sixers, will probably not be good. But that's where they're going to be there. Coming up, what's more important? Backline defense, perimeter defense? I'm curious what you guys think about that. We'll talk about that and more coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Open Phone. If you're a small business owner, you know that there are so many things you got to keep track of. If you're running a business, every missed call is money left on the table. Think about that the last time you had an urgent need, maybe for a plumber or service provider. If the first person didn't answer, what'd you do? I tell you what I do. I call a different service and I call somebody else to try and get them to come fix whatever I need. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system built to streamline and scale your customer communications, all from an app on your phone or computer. They have a shared inbox, which is a game changer. Your team can jump into any conversation instantly without missing a beat, so you don't have to be on call all the time, which is great. Open Phone is offering our listeners 20% off the first 6 months at openphone.com/lockedonnba. Open Phone, openphone.com/lockedonnba. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Open Phone, no missed calls, no missed customers.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call our listeners, listening every single day. We appreciate you for checking out the show. We'll be here 5 days a week all through the summer, baby. So
Let's go, baby.
stick with us, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, subscribe to our text line, click the link in the description to get that. We've been answering some of your questions on there. One of them I found interesting from Edwin. What's more important to you, backline defense or perimeter defense? Concern meter from, he did 1 to 10. I like doing 0 to 5. I think it's a little bit better. With the lack of a concern meter, 0 to 5 with the lack of elite perimeter defense. I reserve the right to change your questions. It's my show.
Poor Edwin. I'm with you, Edwin. I'll do a 1 to 10 thing.
Which one is better, the 1 or the 10? If you do 0 to 5, it's obvious. 0 is the worst. 5 is the best.
Okay.
That's why I always do 0 to 5.
But then you have 6 numbers to pick.
It's fine. What's the 10 is like just a random, like an arbitrary number.
That's true. That's true. 0 to 5 it is. Okay, the first question. What's more important, backline defense or perimeter defense? I honestly went back and forth on this because I'm like, well, if it doesn't matter about the perimeter defense, if it's good or bad, then if you have a backline guy, then whatever. But I think I've landed pretty good on perimeter defense means more, especially in the game today in which there's so many 3-pointers taken. You got to be able to hit a ton of threes. And you got to have guys that can chase guys around on the perimeter, that can go through screens, that can, it's hard to really lock up people nowadays because there's so much flopping and selling and grifting and all the crap. But I just think the perimeter stuff is more important.
I think you can do both, right? Like I think both of them, you can have a good defense by having like one or the other. But
Case in point, Rudy Gobert. Like Rudy Gobert in Utah, a handful of years ago, like Donovan Mitchell and Joe Ingles and some of those guys.
Mike Conley was good.
Those aren't like, they're not on the all defensive teams, but he was the reason why that was one of the best defenses out there.
Well, yeah, and you look at Cleveland right now. Cleveland with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, small guard, and so you have 2 rim protectors, and they've got a really great defense. You look at Minnesota right now and what they have. Anthony Edwards can be good on defense, but sometimes isn't. Mike Conley is older now and is not.
Well, they got McDaniels. He's good.
Yeah, that's true. Oklahoma City has both. Orlando is one where they got perimeter defense for sure, and I don't know that you think of Wendell Carter Jr. as a great rim protector. Houston is the other example. Houston had an incredible defense. They got Şengün in the back line.
That's the opposite of a Cleveland,
An older Steven Adams too, right? Boston has KP in and out of the lineup, and so they rely on their perimeter defense with Derek White. I was listening to Locked On Clippers recently, and he was talking about who should be in the starting lineup now that they have Bradley Beal. And He was like, there is not one contending team that doesn't start a elite or above average perimeter attack defender. Because he was trying to make the case that Bradley Beal probably shouldn't start and they should start Dunn or Derek Jones Jr., our old friend, or something like that, because they all start like a really good perimeter attack defender. And I was like, that's a pretty good point.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the roster on that, but yeah, I'm kind of with him on that. This is one of my things. I mean, let's go to the second part. Concern meter 1 to 10 with the lack of elite perimeter defense. I think we even got a question, not to jump on this, but from Chase of like, what's the biggest strength and weakness this season? And I'm gonna lump these together. I think their biggest weakness and the reason why I'm a concern meter is like what'd you say? 5 was the most concern?
0 is 0 concern. It's 0.
I was just kidding. That's why I honestly put it like a 4 for me.
You're that concerned.
I am, just because there's so many good point guards out there, and I get it. I can be proven wrong, and y'all tell me I'm stupid. Sure. Of like, hey, well, it doesn't matter who we put out there. We have so much size and backline defense, then it doesn't matter a lot. I'm like, I fall into the pressure of like, you got to have that point of attack defender. There's so many good point guards. You got to have that guy out there, a Lou Dort, a Caruso, whoever it is that can. And the way the Mavs team is set up right now, D'Lo, Klay, I mean, even Cooper asking him to like chase people around. It's not just like, hey, can you stay in front of somebody? You got to chase the Steph Currys of the world around. Like, point guards never stop. So you got to just chase them around the floor too. And that just wears people out. So I'm concerned about it. And I think that's their biggest weakness.
I'm at a 2.
Oh,
I thought about doing a 1. I also thought about doing a 0.
You're not concerned at all.
I thought about it. I went up to a 2.
Okay.
The 2 is if they are thinking about making a playoff run, I would be concerned. In a regular season, look at what the Cavs just did. The Cavs started Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. They played Ty Jerome a bunch.
True. That's a great point. Yeah.
They didn't get DeAndre Hunter until later. They had Karis LeVert coming off their bench a bunch, right? Like Max Strus, who was a better defender, but still, like they didn't have an elite guy, and they were a very good defense. Ended up being the 8th best defense this season, and were one of the best ones last year. And so that is the example that I look at, being like, okay, this can work out. And I think Caleb Martin is better than people remember. I think Max Christie can be better than people remember. And I think those guys can. And Klay was solid last year. I don't think like.
He's definitely solid now.
His legs are going to be better this year, I think.
Better? I think they'll be better. The set shots. It's going to be a little bit more set shots this year.
Putting in that work, though.
Are you concerned about other teams?
Do you listen to a Megan Thee Stallion song?
Are you concerned about other teams hitting a ton of threes against us? Because if your perimeter defense is so bad, then they can get past you, get into the paint. It's going to cause rotations. The ADs can't get out there on time to stretch 4, or Cooper's having to help and leaving a guy, or Lively, whoever. And yeah, that's one of the things of like, it's not just, hey, Donovan Mitchell will torch D'Lo and score a ton of points. It's Donovan Mitchell will get past it, get into the paint, and hit a guy in the corner, a Sam Merrill who they gave too much money to, and he's just going to hit like 5 threes or something. So that's the like, I'm a little worried about that, but.
Can we take a second? We're doing a project for Locked On that'll come out soon. They just did the NFL one where they did top 100 players. Yeah. And we were asked to do like 4 or 5 best players on each of our teams and write them down.
Yeah.
That we would consider potentially in the top.
If the Cavs guys put 100. Sam Merrill in the top 4, I don't know what
he put Sam Merrill, but it was like his 7th player or something like that. But he included it in the list, and I was like,
oh, come on.
Like, Danny, come on, bud. Like,
did you put Omax in ours?
Maybe he didn't understand the point of it was to put players we think could be in the top 100, but he put Sam Merrill, and I was laughing about that today. Yeah, no, I and the other thing is like, at what level are they gonna? Are we talking about them in a Western Conference Finals? Then yeah, I'd be concerned about their team. If not, then even in a first round series, I think they'd have enough. But the problem that you bring up is the whole problem the Mavs are gonna have all season is the 3-point deficit. They're going to be in a deficit in like every single game. They don't have enough 3-point shooters, even with D'Angelo Russell and Klay Thompson. They don't have enough. They barely had enough with Luka and Kyrie taking like 10 a game, taking like 20 a game between the two of them. And So I think that's going to be an issue. And then, teams are going to hit threes on them because
D'Lo's like,
they're not going into the paint. They're not going to go into the paint. They're not going to score at the rim, right? Like,
yeah, no.
So I'll be interested to see.
Unless they're playing against a team that's so committed to a 5-out, and it is like fully pulling an AD Lively away from the basket and something like that. But that's going to take a unique situation.
The other thing about that, though, is if it pulls AD and Lively away, then whoever's closest to the ball can come help. And Cooper Flagg too, right? They're so unique that they can recover well on those things because they have so many defensive options in that way. You're not just pulling, you're not just taking Rudy Gobert and he's your one perimeter, he's your one anchor going away. You have like three with Flagg, AD, and Lively are all playing.
And typically, if a team goes 5-out, then they're playing a little smaller. You would take advantage on the other end with an Anthony Davis, Cooper Flagg, and all the size and stuff. Once again, it's not like, hey, this is the thing that's going to keep them from being above 500. No, I'm not that. I'm just saying, like, if I have to pick a weakness for this team, that's my answer. And I am a tad bit more concerned about it. Concerned in a relative way of, hey, this is the one thing that could like give them trouble this year.
Coming up, Dirk had Steve Nash to help guide him early in his career. I know the player that's going to help Cooper Flagg early in his career. We'll talk about that and more. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Monarch Money. Just like Steve Nash helped guide Dirk through the early days in his career, Monarch Money can help guide you through managing your money and then building wealth, taking it to that next level to figure out how to manage all your different kinds of things, accounts, investments, spending, all in one place. For me, I got mortgage, 401k, credit cards, savings accounts, student loans,
Flex.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's flexing my student loans. Flexing my student loans over here that I still have. All kinds of stuff. And it's hard to keep track of everything, all the different transactions. I'm paying with different credit cards to get different points and all that. I'm trying to play that game and all that. And Monarch Money helps to put all that stuff in one spot. And it helps with different things, different flow charts to see how things are going, to see if you're in a deficit, to see if you're spending too much, if you're not spending enough or whatever. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at Monarch Money for 50% off. That's half off your entire first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA. It's LOCKEDONNBA, all one word. LOCKEDON NBA for half off your first year at monarchmoney.com.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, Isaac, we're talking about the Mavs. We're answering your questions about the Dallas Mavericks. We've got the text line where we get these questions. We do Q&As every once in a while where we answer your questions too, and we'll send all the answers to all these questions to everybody, which is fun. We do some mailbags like that. But we're doing it on the show today. Let's get into the next question from our guy, Jacob. Dirk had Steve Nash to guide him early in his NBA career. If you're looking at the current Mavs roster, who do you see as the ideal Nash figure to help Cooper Flagg adjust to the league and reach his potential? A Nash figure is fascinating because Nash was like a contemporary with Dirk. He was around the same age. He was just a little older, had been in the NBA a little longer. And to me, it's obviously Dereck Lively.
That's good. I didn't think about it from that angle. I probably didn't even finish the sentence. I was just like, oh, who's going to be the mentor?
I mean, the mentor, make your choice. Anthony Davis, Kyrie, LeBron James, Klay Thompson. Like, he's got so many different people to choose from.
You were waiting for that too. I hope you fall over in your chair.
LeBron James.
Can I just say something real quick?
No, not about LeBron.
No. This is what makes fandom fun, though. Is like when you have like nemesis or like nemesi,
like you and Kyle Anderson.
When you have people, when you sports hate someone, when you all this stuff and you don't like someone, I'm always going to be a guy like that. I think there's too many fans, media people out there that's just like, everything's great, love everyone. And that's just like, I don't know, it's just not fun. So I'm always going to talk about the people I love. I'm always going to talk about the people I don't love and I don't sports, love. So I think it's just part of fun and it's entertaining too. So
are you aware you're aligning yourself with Skip Bayless with this approach you've taken?
I mean, I guess there's some success for him because
What's Skip up to these days?
Okay. So I think Kyrie's like an obvious, like, I think Kyrie would take anybody under his wing and it's like, dude, I'm going to like be your guy. And like just teach. I think we're going to see so many clips this year of like Kyrie talking with him and showing him different things. I think it'd be cool for like Anthony Davis because of the position. And it's like, I think there's a lot of similarities with that when AD came in.
The hype.
I would love for Klay, if Klay has time, and just with the shot stuff and the vet and winning the rings and all that. But yeah, I mean, I think it is. Lively's the easy answer to that. Of a couple years older, he's been to an NBA Finals too. Hopefully he can stay healthy to where they're playing a lot of minutes together too. It's not just like somebody on the bench in street clothes. So I think that's going to be, I hope that pairing stays together and stays healthy, because that would just be such a fun duo to like root for.
Oh, I want that so bad for those two guys to be the building block of the Mavs' next step after this.
Like people are trying to do that with Cooper and Nembhard right now. And it's like,
it's fun for summer league, but
one of these guys is not like the other. All right. Nembhard's going to be in Frisco a lot. So Lively and Cooper should be playing a lot of minutes together.
Well, they're not pictures of Lively and Cooper together practicing.
That's true.
Doing those things. And we did talk about Lively's procedure. We talked about that yesterday, so listen to that show if you missed that one. Which of these two things are more likely to happen this season? Mavs miss the playoffs, Mavs win the title.
I mean, I feel like the odds is better to just say miss the playoffs.
Do we have odds? We should have odds on that.
The odds will tell you to miss the playoffs because there's only one. I mean, there's only one team that can win the NBA Finals. There are what? How many teams now that we have the participation?
Mavs to win the title. Ready for this? On FanDuel, our good friends, plus 3,500 to win the title, which is like,
what spot is that?
Way down.
How many teams are in front of them?
Way down. Like so many. Sixers are ahead of them. Hawks are ahead of them. Warriors.
Sixers
Clippers,
are ahead of them?
Yes.
What?
They're plus 3,400.
What? The Sixers?
And put some money down and maybe they'll move it up. Maybe they'll move it up. Sixers, Hawks, Warriors, Clippers, Timberwolves, Lakers, Magic, Rockets, Cavs, Nuggets, Knicks, Thunder all have better odds to win the title. And Pistons are right below them. Celtics are below them. Bucks are below them.
The Warriors too?
Yeah, Warriors get a bump because they're a really popular team.
Interesting.
Mavs to miss the playoffs. Minus 132.
Wow.
To make the playoffs plus 100. So you have to bet $132 to win $100 for that.
Here's the thing. The question,
odds, which means it's likely.
The question is miss the playoffs or win the title. There are six teams in the conference that missed the play-in exactly, or 5 teams. And then, you do your thing from that, seven teams in each conference that missed the playoffs. So one team wins the title. So the odds would say miss. I will say this. I will caveat with this. I'm not saying that, hey, they should be right there at the top, NBA title stuff. They have the talent to go on a super deep NBA like playoff run. For me, it is purely on health. Purely on health.
For sure.
So it is not like unheard of. I don't think it's like insane to say, hey, Dallas could win the title this year. I don't think that's insane. If you just fully caveat it with, if they're fully healthy. And it's just tough because they have a lot of injury stuff right now, concerns and AD stuff and all that. So, but I think they have the talent. There's a lot of teams out there I think you look at and say, they just don't have the talent. I don't care if they're eating an apple every day and, they're super healthy.
Honestly, I would say that about the 76ers. I don't believe in Paul George. Embiid has never been to a conference finals. Kyrie, AD, and Klay have all won titles. Like, that's just different.
When was the last time we've seen Paul George and Embiid be like good?
Paul George was really good the year that they beat the Mavs in the playoffs, and they went to the conference finals for the Clippers.
How long ago was that?
I know, this is like 2021, wasn't it?
I just feel like the level that we seen Kyrie at last year, the level we seen AD at before, some injury, like
last year, he was better than LeBron for a lot of the season. And it was like one of those years where you're like, oh, here's AD, and then he gets hurt a little.
Yeah, so like, I feel like we've seen the Mavs guys be good, you know. Yeah.
More recently.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I would pick Flagg impacting winning more than VJ Edgecombe early, and maybe McCain and Maxey obviously, but
I mean, I love their young guys. I love the VJ, McCain, Maxey.
I think Sixers also get an East bump instead of the Hawks for sure.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Any thoughts on the Summer League game? We talked 0 minutes about it so far. Mavs lose to the 76ers, quote unquote Mavs. Our guy Nembhard didn't play. Cooper Flagg obviously didn't play. Got to see Miles Kelly, 21 points, hit a couple of threes. And I love Miles Kelly. He's my guy.
Him versus Broom. I thought Maxless had some cool moments in the game. He had a cool stretch there. That's about it, man. I mean, there are different like small things that no one like cares about. Like, hey, I like this little play here or this. Yeah. So I'm kind of done watching that.
Miles Kelly's on a two-way with the Mavs. No one else on this team should get the third two-way, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, just a reminder, like there's a two-way spot open up right now. So that's pretty much the only spot. There's some camp invites. Like we'll see some like camp invites and stuff. But like, it's just like a two-way spot up for grabs. Like right now at this moment, they don't really have a spot for Exum. So we talked about it yesterday. They got to create a spot for Exum at some point. But yeah, Nembhard, Miles Kelly is two of those three two-way spots. We'll see what they do to fill it. They could sign a guy from another team or wait till camp and see what positional battles happen and stuff like that. So yeah.
There's no CBA way to convert Omax to a two-way. He would have to like agree to take a lot less money and like rip up his contract.
I mean, he's been in the league 2 years now. I don't know what.
It's 4 years.
Okay.
He could like functionally he could be, but is it like salary wise? He'd have to like literally rip up his contract. That's the way that they could keep him.
No, I wouldn't do that if I was him.
No, of course not. You lose hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. So anyway,
tough one. Tough one for your guy. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. We'll be back tomorrow with more. We'll be breaking down me and Isaac and Slightly, the three-man weave back talking. We're going to do NBA over and unders. We're going to draft our favorite overs and our favorite unders for season win totals. We're going to do that tomorrow. It'll be a long show. So I hope you enjoy that. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.
Gonna get a seat at the table.